Welcome back, everybody. This Week in America, website thisweekinamerica.us. Great to have you with us on the program today. As certified senior Iyengar yoga teachers, Dr. Tommijean Thomas and Benjamin Thomas, with over 30 years of practice, have shared a simplified and more beneficial practice of yoga by introducing the book Iyengar Yoga, the Integrated and Holistic Path to Health. And they're with us today on This Week in America. Dr. Thomas, Benjamin, welcome to the program. Great to have you with us on the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Well, there's so much to talk about in the book, some fascinating stuff. And let's talk with the very basics. Dr. Thomas, talk a little bit about yoga. It's something a lot of people hear a lot about, and they're not quite sure if they're not a practicer what it is. What exactly is yoga? And then we'll talk about Iyengar yoga.
Yoga is a very large topic, okay? It includes meditation. It includes breathing exercises. It includes physical postures. And it has also the study of what's right and wrong.
Yes. So there's several definitions you can look at. You can say it's a study of life itself and how to live it well. It's a study of the self. So yoga is the union, the study of life, the study of the self, and how to live it well. That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah, if you Google yoga, you get literally hundreds of thousands of different definitions and varieties. You're talking about Iyengar yoga, and the book is Iyengar Yoga, the Integrated and Holistic Path to Health. It's available at Amazon. Information at our website, thisweekinamerica.us. Benjamin, talk a little bit about the difference, why this is something that caught your attention, something you've been practicing, and something you've written the book about.
Right. Okay. So so yoga is a vast subject, as my wife was saying, and it's been around for thousands years, and embodies all of mankind's knowledge. Our Iyengar yoga is a focus, it's an approach that emphasizes our precision in doing poses, the attention to detail, and that is really one of the things that really set the Iyengar style apart from other styles. So there are styles of yoga, but they are Iyengar is the attention to detail, the sequencings, and the timings of doing things. And BKS Iyengar is, in our opinion, the world master, kind of of yoga. He's well renowned.
And the book is not really intimidating. You may look at it and go, wow, there's a lot of information in here. But it's really designed for people, even beginning people that are just studying yoga, all the way up to those that have been doing it for a number of years, and actually even instructors. Dr. Thomas, talk about putting this book together, because I understand this really has been years in the making. This is not something you put together over the weekend. This is the result of all of your years of experience, including a number of studies that you did.
Yes. We hoped we
look at him.
We intended to just, make a small book. And it came out to 500 pages or whatever. And because it is such a vast and complex subject, and it encompasses so much, and the whole body, soul, mind, the way you live life, how you treat others, how you get along with others, how you handle your emotions. For me, that was a biggie. Learning to cope with my own very emotions. It sounds so simple, but it wasn't.
So this is more, and you hear people that have been studying yoga, practicing yoga for a number of years. It's really not necessarily just an exercise program. It really what becomes a way of life from what you're expressing.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
A way of life. Yeah.
Correct.
How you interact with others, how you think, how you react, what you do. It encompasses it all.
The book is called Iyengar Yoga, the Integrated and Holistic Path to Health. The book is available at Amazon. Information at our website, thisweekinamerica.us. The authors of the book are the guest on This Week in America today, Dr. Tommijean Thomas and Benjamin Thomas. Both have experience of over 30 years. Benjamin, let's talk about why you would practice yoga and Iyengar in particular. If somebody is listening and thinking, this is something I've always thought about getting involved in, what are some of the benefits? Why is it beneficial for someone to practice yoga?
Okay. There are several of them. Generally, the first motivation for a person to practice yoga, one is its popularity, and they've heard about it. But most often people come because there's some physical, they realize they need to care for their physical self. So it starts off as postures, and yoga is now widely accepted as very beneficial. Even all the medical professions say it is a beneficial thing to do. As one gets exposed through many of the different styles, you start seeing it's more than just doing exercises. I need to be attentive to how I'm doing, what I'm doing, and where my mind is. And that's where this attention to detail in the Iyengar style comes in and becomes paramount. So it's, even if you're not a yogi, we're living life, and we are learning through experience, through survived experiences, what the nature of life is like, and then discovering what we are like. And we have this perennial question, how to do it well. And that's what the yoga is about. The Iyengar approach really helps because you minimize the hurt to yourself as you're doing exercises. So you have to care for yourself physically. You have to take care of your breath and your mind. And it's called holistic because it's the entire self, all that one can discover and do.
The book is Iyengar Yoga, the Integrated and Holistic Path to Health. Dr. Thomas, you talk a lot in the book, and it's sort of basic, and for people that practice this, setting the mood, the meditation, making the transition. This is not just walking into a room and beginning yoga. There is this transition. How important is that?
It's everything. You come in and like if you're in an average yoga class, and there's going to be a teacher up in front, and they're going to lead you into the poses, and you're going to be following them. But as you progress and as you learn the yoga yourself, and then as you get so that you can do yoga on your own by yourself, then you begin to develop the meditative quality, where you really go within your soul, your own spirit, and you really have a joining with the Lord up above. So there is a religious aspect to the yoga, a spiritual, a very big aspect, spiritual, which you don't get in an average yoga class, or, well, you might in Ben's class, but not in most yoga classes. They go in and they do the yoga-like exercises, but it's vast and complex. There's so much more.
Ben, I would think one of the advantages of this, once you understand the concept, it's not something that really even has to be scheduled. You could be having a bad day and carve some time out for yourself and go away and escape and really get into this transition period.
And that's exactly one of the major derived benefits of it. Over time, you can get there just quickly, instantaneously with your breath. You can just take and very quickly you're into your inner self, and you have that peace there. And so it's a developed skill, that we can move very quickly out of a troubled situation into solitude. And as you practice, you're not only being led maybe by a teacher, but as my wife points out, it's your private practice where you really develop all of these skills to be at peace with yourself in spite of whatever is going on in the world.
Our guest on This Week in America, Dr. Tommijean Thomas and Benjamin Thomas. They are the authors of the new book, Iyengar Yoga, the Integrated and Holistic Path to Health. Book available at Amazon.com. Information at our website, thisweekinamerica.us. In the book, you talk about well-known and simple mantras, chants. And in fact, there are 8 of them that you talk about. Dr. Thomas, tell me a little bit about why that's important. Is that just sort of a mood setter, part of that transition we were talking about?
Rick, that's very good. It does. It helps set the mood. Our voice is ourself, and the voice resonance is us. And the more you practice the yoga, the more the breath deepens, the stronger become the chants. The voice becomes melodious and pleasant to even hear yourself, let alone for others to hear.
And kind of adding to that, all cultures, if you look at all cultures all throughout the history of mankind, they've always discovered to do chants. Within the voice, you have we're really sounds and vibrations. So we get where we really, our own voice gets this vibrational effect, and that calms and stimulates the self. But all cultures have uncovered, and utilize repetition of important, significant, positive statements, and that's what chants are about. And you can see it in every religion, every culture, every society. Generally, you do it 108 times, so you have a positive statement, you voice it and sing it, and it imprints a positive statement. It's just one of mankind's known successes.
Is this something that should be done every day? And when we do it, how long is beneficial? Is there like a time frame that you recommend to your students?
Yoga is meant to be done every day, every single day. However, when you start out, it's not advisable. You need to have one day off. As time goes on, you actually crave every day, and you can do that with even more benefit. But that doesn't come too soon in the practice or the undertaking. So it should not be pushed. In the beginning, you have one day off. Must have that.
And kind of an aside to answer that, and I play this for my students a lot. I say, when do you practice? Well, I come to class and I practice 3 times a week or once a week. Ask the student 6 months later, when do you practice? I come to class. After a while, they start coming and they start transferring from I'm now practicing, I'm coming to class to learn. I go home to practice. I come to class to learn. And then you find that you ask a 5-year student, when you practice, the answer is all the time. I'm aware of how I stand. Like now, we're conscious of how we are sitting. We're conscious of more conscious of our state of being. So yoga gets to be a day, moment-to-moment experience.
It's interesting. So this basically is an evolutionary process. This evolves as you participate.
Exactly. And that was the part of the research there, that we use students who were beginners at the college, and then we got people who had 5 to 10 years experience, and then about 6 there was the seniors in the world, and we were able to compare, how they practice the effects over those times. So it definitely evolves, as you would expect.
This is why there is so much credibility to the book Iyengar Yoga, The Integrated and Holistic Path to Health. With over 30 years' experience, our guest on the program and authors, Dr. Tommijean Thomas and Benjamin Thomas, and all the studies you've conducted over the years, the research studies that you've done in talking and dealing with the students that you deal with on a daily basis. Something I found interesting, there are 15 original series, sequences, routines of postures with different purposes and themes to carry the practitioner through a diverse personal practice. So, again, is this individualized for everybody? One of your students may do something differently than another one.
Yes.
Posture-wise, go ahead.
Yes. Actually, in a class setting, one of the motivations for the book was students get attached to the teacher as to what to do. And so Tommy, having a dance background from age 6 and through into early 20s as a professional dancer, she knew how to choreograph. So we started putting together sequences to answer the question, what should I do on my own? Then as you mature, you start kind of the body talks back. Today I feel like I need to do this to maintain the self. And as you get more aware of how you do something, it's not only what I'm doing, but how you do it. And it'll vary from person to person. In classes, I teach, a group of students, but each one I have to look at individually and see where they are today, where the elements are, what their limitations are, and vary it. And that comes along with the sophistication and the evolved practice.
Well, tell me about the transformation that your students go through. It has to be exciting, exhilarating when you see someone come in, not quite sure what they're about to get into, and
Right.
Suddenly you see them transforming before your very eyes, to the point that I'm sure many of these have been students for a number of years, and literally this turned their lives around.
Exactly. It's just miraculous to see what a person can do for themselves. And actually, they have to do all the work. We can be the inspiration and motivation for it. The first year, you get these phenomenal things because a person will say, oh, I can get my hands on the floor. So physically, you have these great jump throughs. And then they'll start telling me, when I was standing at the grocery line, I was aware of how I was standing. That's a big door opener. they're now being more attentive all the time. You watch you just psychologically become more calm. They're driving and they don't get as upset that they used to be. They have a better handle on themselves. People will notice more than changes than the individual often. So you see these major transformations physically, health-wise, mentally, emotionally, and just how they're dealing with life.
In the book, there are a number of illustrations and a number of very artful pictures that will guide you through the process. Dr. Thomas, let's talk a little bit about the evolution of postures and poses and how important that is. And as someone who has a sort of barely a working knowledge of yoga, as I'm looking at this, there really are a number of different poses, postures, the importance of doing the right one. I think Ben alluded to before, your body will talk to you. So your body is sort of assisting you as you go along here.
Yes, your body, as you progress in the study of yoga, you become much more and more aware of yourself and of how you're responding, not just to the yoga practice, but how you respond to other people in life, people in a work setting, how with the patience with your children will increase. The relationship with your spouse will become more loving. You become a more loving person, but also a more strong person. So by strength, I mean not just the physical strength, but determination, patience. Those were some of the things I had to struggle with. Patience, especially when we got married. 2 days after we were married, I had 4 children. He had 2, so we thought we'd be raising 4 children, but the other 2 came. So they were delivered to the doorstep. So now we had a family of, what was that?
6.
6. 6 children.
So stress,
6 children.
yeah, stress management became
6 children and the 2 of us. And then the next thing we know, one of Ben's brothers moved in for a year.
Oh, wow.
And then we had a landscaper move in for another year or 2. So making dinner was a major production. So we had to teach our children chores early growing up. Yeah, they each had 6 chores a day. And then we had one of the children who actually turned out to be an attorney down the road, who everything had to be fair. So every week, the 6 chores for each child got rotated. Everything had to be fair.
You see the legal mind working even at that time.
Even at that early stage. Yeah.
We would go to church, and their seats in the car had to be rotated to be fair.
So it took a lot of patience.
Yes, most definitely. Unfortunately, we were out of time. I love the book, Iyengar Yoga, The Integrated and Holistic Path to Health. And it says so much in there. And as you read that, especially, and I mentioned, and Ben, I'll end up just ask you that question. Again, this book is for everybody, right? From beginners, somebody, even before a beginner, a pre-beginner who's thinking about, yeah, I see people that are doing yoga and I would like to try that. Or someone that's been practicing for years or even teaching yoga.
That's right. It is used for people. It's inspiring to a person who just to find out what it's about. It is used as a textbook in the colleges. And it's for teachers because it does a lot of things. So it's for everyone. That was our intent.
And I would assume not just people that are that we talked about, the yoga instructors, the people that have been practicing for years. I'm assuming other disciplines of medicine that this would be valuable to them as well, from the stress management, from the posture standpoint, all of that. There are a great deal of benefits beyond just what we've talked about on the show.
Exactly. Right. And with the research there, it really validates that. And a lot of the healthcare places now are recognizing and will even pay for yoga instruction and recommending it now. Yeah. Times have really changed in the last 10 to 15 years.
Our guest on the program, Dr. Tommijean Thomas, Benjamin Thomas. They are senior certified Iyengar yoga teachers, have been doing it for a number of years, over 30 years of practice. The book is called Iyengar Yoga, The Integrated and Holistic Path to Health. The book is available at Amazon.com. Information available at our website, thisweekinamerica.us. Dr. Thomas Benjamin, thank you so much for joining us on the program. Learned a lot on the show today. I'm going to go through it and see if I can relieve a little stress here during the course of the day. Thank you for joining us on the program.
And thank you very much, too.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This Week in America,
My pleasure.
website thisweekinamerica.us.